We're constantly building tools to make us smarter, right? What if they're doing the exact opposite? What if they're quietly hollowing out the very skills they're supposed to be supporting?
Our source material kicks off with this pretty chilling line. Just think about it. It suggests that the people we count on the most, our doctors, pilots, lawyers, they're on the front lines of this huge change. A change into a new kind of human, one that's become deeply, maybe even irreversibly dependent on the tools we've created.
So how in the world does this happen? Well, it all starts with something the sources are calling the master trick. And it's not new. It's a pattern that's been repeating for more than 100 years. And it's all about one thing: separating the thinking from the doing.
Okay, think about it like this. Picture a master furniture maker. Their brain and their hands work together as one. They have this deep, almost intuitive knowledge that gives them total mastery over their craft. Now imagine a factory owner comes along and studies their every move, turning all that brain work into a simple set of instructions. Then he just hires workers who only need their hands, not their brains, to follow the plan. Just like that, the knowledge has been pulled out, turned into a system, and the skill belongs to the factory, not the worker.
You see, this process isn't some accident. It's a deliberate strategy. Thinkers like Harry Braverman and Frederick Winslow Taylor, they called it scientific management. But we know it by a much simpler name: deskilling. And yeah, it might have started on the factory floor, but modern AI is basically its rocket fuel.
All right, let's take that same idea and see how it plays out somewhere else. We're moving from the factory floor to one of the most high-stakes places you can imagine: the cockpit of a modern airliner. I mean, we all believe this, don't we? The whole idea of a computer flying the plane feels safe. It's supposed to be this miracle of modern engineering, designed to get rid of human error. But the data, well, the data tells a completely different and frankly terrifying story. So this is the modern cockpit. It's quiet, it's clean, and it's pretty much run by software. The pilot's main job is just to watch the systems, and for 99% of flights, this system works perfectly. It really is a marvel of safety. But everything changes in that other 1%. This is where it gets crazy. A study from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board came back with a verdict that is just shocking. While these super high-tech planes have fewer accidents overall, when they do crash, the accident is more than twice as likely to be deadly. Yeah, look at these numbers. They are stark. A fatal accident rate of 1.03 for every 100,000 flight hours in these new glass cockpits, compared to just 0.43 in the old ones. So how is that even possible? How can the very system designed for ultimate safety actually create the conditions for a more catastrophic failure? The answer isn't about pilots forgetting how to physically fly the plane. No. NASA-backed research found that the decay was happening on a much deeper cognitive level. All that constant mental math, keeping a living map of the world in their head, that gut feeling that something's wrong with the system, all of that brain work was literally atrophying because they just weren't using it anymore.
And this isn't just a problem for pilots. Not at all. This glass cockpit phenomenon, it's starting to show up everywhere, including our hospitals. So imagine an AI that helps a doctor find cancerous polyps during a colonoscopy. Sounds great, right? Their detection rates shoot up. Seems like a clear, no-brainer win for patients and medicine. But a really shocking study found there's a hidden cost.
A landmark study published in The Lancet found that after doctors used an AI tool for just a few months, their own ability to spot these growths without the AI got significantly worse. Their unassisted skill actually dropped by 6 percentage points. The AI was becoming a crutch, and it was weakening their expert eye. They were becoming dependent.
You see the same pattern in law. AI is amazing at getting rid of what young lawyers call drudgery, spending endless hours reviewing thousands of documents. But here's the thing, that drudgery was the training ground. That's how they learned to spot tiny inconsistencies, to build an argument from scratch, to develop a real legal intuition. Now the risk is they become great at writing prompts, but not great lawyers. So what if this isn't just about losing professional skills? What if this is something more fundamental, a biological process that's happening inside all of our brains right now? Okay, let's make this really personal. For you and me. Studies are showing that when we just blindly follow our GPS, the part of our brain that's responsible for building mental maps, it's called the hippocampus, it shows measurably less activity. Our brain works on a use-it-or-lose-it basis. And by outsourcing our navigation, we are literally letting our own internal GPS just waste away.
And this anxiety, it turns out, is ancient. I'm talking 2,400 years ago, Plato was worried that the invention of writing would destroy our memory. He said it would give us the show of wisdom without the reality. So from Plato to the assembly line to the smartphone in your pocket, we've always been offloading our thinking onto our tools.
Which brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. We are building this incredible world of convenience and efficiency, but it might actually be a trap.
You've heard this 1,000 times, right? It's the go-to optimistic argument. AI isn't replacing us, it's augmenting us. It's freeing us up for more important creative work. But all the evidence we've just looked at suggests that's a dangerously simple story.
Because here's the thing. The true value of a human expert was never about being perfect in the 99% of cases that are totally routine. Technology can do that. The irreplaceable value of a human being is what they do in that critical 1%. You know, when the engines fail, when the diagnosis is bizarre, when there's no precedent to follow. That's where we shine.
And this exposes the big paradox, doesn't it? That boring routine practice, that was the whetstone. It was the very thing that sharpened our expertise for the moments that truly mattered. By automating the practice, we stop the exercise. And by stopping the exercise, we are losing the very skill we need for when everything goes wrong.
This is the Gilded Cage, a world of comfort and productivity, where every little problem is solved by a clever algorithm. It looks golden, but inside this beautiful cage, the very muscles of judgment and resilience that make us human are slowly, silently, and maybe irreversibly wasting away.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty unsettling question. We are building systems that can solve almost all of our problems for us. But what happens when the truly unexpected shows up? When the system fails, and we look around only to realize we've forgotten how to think for ourselves?